Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
And Big Boy Summer here, bringing you our hot or not TSUKIMICHI Moonlit fantasy.
So let's judge creativity. So they make fun of isekai straight away. They tell us how you can get summoned into an isekai usually and all the things that follow you, and then he basically says, well, yeah, I'm unlucky in isekais clearly because isekais for me are trash. And then we find out that Misumi, who is the main protagonist, his parents are actually from another world, and they made a contract with a god in order to be able to be on Earth, and they pledged to give the thing that's most important to them in order to do so. And it turns out that they had 3 kids, so of course one of the things most important to them is going to be one of their kids, and so now Misumi basically has to pay for their contract. Was it even worth it?
Yeah, I think it was. Obviously, they come from different worlds, they have different customs, and they pay for it. So in terms of creativity for me, I like the whole fact that Truck-kun didn't wear his ugly head hair and didn't come in and take someone into an isekai. Because Truck-kun is the biggest villain in all of anime. All jokes aside though, I like the fact that this is a parody on itself. And it's not afraid to make fun of itself and its genre and be superly over the top. It's giving me One Punch Man vibes, that kind of thing. And you know what? I'm here for it.
Entertainment. So like you were saying, it is kind of parodying itself a little bit, and I think that's where most of the entertainment comes from. You've got the goddess, who we didn't actually get her name, but she stripped him of his hero status and told him that he was too ugly to have the parents he has. It was so deep. Imagine someone saying to you, you're ugly. Are your parents even your parents? Even your voice is ugly. Seriously, come on. Even your voice is ugly. And then she said, don't dare procreate with my humans. It was too much. And then she banished him to the very edges of her world. The dude almost died. She actually dropped him from a height and said, wonder if he'll survive the fall. No, he wouldn't have survived the fall. But of course, Tsukiyomi, my guy, came in and saved his ass. But yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot more entertainment elements as the episodes come along, because they're clearly not holding any punches whatsoever.
More entertaining things, like, look, the moment he saw a 2-headed dog, rather than run away, he decided to run towards it. He ran through and kicked that dog dead, and that just killed it for me. Cause we weren't expecting it, no one saw it, and he scared the bejeebers of that little pig girl. But turns out, pig orc, not girl, because he's not allowed to procreate with humans, is he? But turns out saving her actually taught him a bit of magic and stuff. And I like the magic system here. You call out the element, then you shape it using your imagination. I can't wait to see that being more explored. Entertaining, doesn't make me want to see the next episode. Find out in my verdict, innit?
Character development. So I only want to talk about 2 people here. First up is Shen, who is the dragon humanoid figure. A dragon that can turn into a human that can turn into a dragon. I don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. So he's a greater dragon that's invincible but likes Makoto straight away. Maybe it's because he's bored and Makoto's like a new toy, is the kind of feeling that I was kind of getting. He's so bored because he's invincible, nothing can really hurt him, so why not? I thought it was a little bit unrealistic that Shen would accept such an unfavorable contract, the 80-20 split. But then when I thought about it a little bit more, I feel like it's probably okay. He is bored, and he said this will probably be the most interesting moments of my life. He's really interested in finding out about this other world as well. So maybe he thinks it's a good deal. Also, since he's invincible, he'll live for a long time, and Makoto is likely to die. Since he's a human, he's not going to live too much past, let's say, 80, and that's probably a blink of an eye to Shen. Also, Shen has some really interesting powers. He has illusion magic. He can also read people's memories, and he kills you with your illusions. It reminds me more like a Jin. And then Makoto, or Misumi, whatever. Makoto, he does a lot of things on a whim, and I'm not really sure if he's dumb or if he's fearless. I don't know, maybe it's a mixture of both, because he's kind of reckless. He clearly does care about other people though. He saved the orc, and he also wanted to make sure that his sisters didn't have to be the ones that had to fulfill the contract. However, it could be like a double-edged sword. Is he just caring about them, or did he just want to try out an isekai because he thought all the great things were going to happen to him and he didn't want his sisters taking his spot? And his powers are really quite intense. Like, his magic is next level. For him to be level 1 as well, his magic seemed way more powerful than the orc, to the point where she thought he had like level 200 or level 300 powers, but he actually only has level 1. And I'm wondering if that is just like his level 1, but it's like hero status, because he was meant to be a hero but he got stripped. So he seems really OP right now. I mean, he kicked that dog, but he kicked the head completely off. Even he was like, what? I kicked the head off. He can also strengthen things. He can also create a barrier around himself and expand it, so he can basically scout areas without being seen. It's almost like he can have no presence almost.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Tsukiyomi. Now, obviously, Tsukiyomi is also a god. Not as strong as the goddess, I guess, because it was alluded to, but still a god nonetheless, and is part of this whole transaction between the parents and their child, Misumi. He gave man some sick powers, fam, to manipulate space-time all around him, as well as the sensing stuff that Ruka said a little bit earlier, and strengthen himself and manipulate his magic. He's basically given him a bubble of strength that is just for him, and maybe in the future could probably help other people. Who knows? But I really want to see how that can be explored.
World building. So they have made the world seem kind of big, because Misumi was put on the edge of the world, and it took him 3 days just to reach any person or any demi-human or anything at all. But at the same time, it kind of feels like the world is being moved along too quickly almost. It's like learning anything about what's going on is just a sentence, and then we're moving on to the next thing. And I'm wondering if they're just like powering through a little bit too fast. I feel like they need to pump the brakes a little bit and take it slightly slower with what they're doing, so that we can get the full impact of what this world is supposed to look like and everything like that. So I don't have too much to say about the world building, but I am concerned.
Well, just like Ruka, I'm also concerned. Look, the world building, what we saw of the world was barren wasteland. What we saw of the world he came from was a girl who was upset with him, which is obviously something to explore later. And what we saw of the world in the interim was galaxies, space and stars. That was it. That everything else was just, you're either inside the building or outside the building. This wasn't about the world building in this episode, and I understand that. As we say, week in, week out, not every anime can do all of these things, so something has to give, and I think maybe world building might have been one of the things that had to be sacrificed. Who knows?
Plot execution. Now this one also has a little bit of a question mark above it, just because yes, we heard that there was a contract that transpired, but we didn't really hear any details, which seems a little bit weird. Since you are the person basically fulfilling said contract, you really should find out a little bit more about what's going on, such as how long do you need to stay in this world? Can you go back to your other world? Will you ever see your family again? Is this now your new world? And as far as being a hero, they still needed a hero. He still has the powers. Is he still going to end up having to fill that type of role? I'm not really sure what angle they're trying to go to. Also, from the flashbacks, it makes me feel like there's issues that they want him to resolve in the real world, because, you know, obviously you had the girl Hasegawa, who he upset they showed a little clip in the beginning as well, and also near the end, so it seems like it must be important enough for us to take note of that. But still, there's so many things that have sort of happened in this one episode that I'm really not sure which direction they're actually planning to take it in or what they want to do with this anime.
Well, in terms of plot execution, I feel like they suffered from too many ideas, too little time. So the pacing of this episode alone was very quick. Like Ruka said earlier, one sentence was an explanation for a lot of things that could have been delved in deeper to. So the contract being the most recent example that she used. But even then, the training of the magic and the learning of magic, he said, I've taken the list of magic and the spells and the equipment. What list? What was on that list? What other magic does he know? Don't do this to me, bruv. I kind of want to know now. You're giving me a new magic system. And you know what I'm like? I'm a sucker for magic systems. So I want to know what's going on.
And he had no equipment.
Bruv, you've got Hasegawa, as you said. What's going on there? Is he ever going to see it again? Who knows? But what I really want to know is Shen, I almost called her Shenlong. Shen came and became a human. And it's more like a slave relationship, like she said. If that's the case, what does actually making a pact mean? Because I know that you explained making a pact, I become your companion. But during the whole process of making a pact, it goes, let's try 50-50. Let's try 70-30. Let's try 80-20. None of that stuff was explained beforehand. So you're here willy-nilly making companions without knowing what's going on. Like, we didn't get enough details of the stuff that made it interesting to look at. And I don't know if it's going to hurt the anime. And I don't know if it mattered in this episode.
To the verdict. Creativity, hot or not?
Yeah, so for me, this is an absolute hot look. It was funny. I laughed. I liked some of the concepts that they came up with. And I definitely want to know more. Hot.
I also think it was a hot. I like having new takes on isekai. Like I have said so many times before, I absolutely love isekai. Throw me an isekai any day of the week. And I love seeing new things that I haven't necessarily seen before, or things done in a different way. And they definitely did that here. Entertainment.
Hot for me. I really want to see next episode. I kind of want to see the whole season.
I also have to say it's a hot. Entertainment was entertaining all the way through. It went really fast. When it got to the end, I was like, oh no. Character development.
I feel like they developed the characters that they needed to develop and left enough mystery for you to want to see other characters be developed. Based on my criteria that I've had, it's a hot.
I felt a little bit on the fence on this one, but ultimately I'm going to go ahead and say it's a hot, but I am expecting them to do a little bit more next time. I think it's because they moved so quickly. Everything seemed so fast. It was like a snowball rolling down a hill almost. They have done a good job with the character development so far, I have to admit. Well building, hot or not?
So originally I was going to say it's a not, but when I actually think about it, what did we need to see? We're going through the journey with the character. We're seeing the world from his scale. So it kind of has to be a hot, so it's a hot for me.
It's a not from me. I feel like it was just not enough of anything. Like we've mentioned before, it was the spells, how he learned it. It was just repeat the sentence and then I have it straight away. I know how to do it. And then not only that, from him learning that one line to going to find Shen, the magic had completely changed and evolved. I just, no practice or anything. I just, it's a not. Plot execution, hot or not?
So the music was good, the script was good. The only thing that it had going against it was the pacing. But it was the only thing. It still made me want to see episode 2. It still made me kind of like it. So it's a hot.
I'm going to have to say it's a not, just because I have no idea what direction this is trying to go in. And yes, that can be a good thing because it means that it lacks predictability, but also it seems kind of all over the place. So for that reason, it has to be a not. However, I did wholly enjoy this first episode, so they clearly have been doing a lot right with this episode. I don't want to knock it just because I gave it 2 not. So there you have it. Big Boy Sama, for the first time in forever, has gone for hot for 5 out of 5 categories, and I have been a little bit of a hot. and I have gone for hot for 3 out of 5 categories. So we will be back again and we will let you know what we think once we have watched the entire anime.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and leave your comments down below.
Peace.